Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here again with another project for Vicky Booten Design Team. Today I'm going to use this ripped piece of paper here from the color wheel part of the color study and make a bit of a color burst page. So I really wanted to use this paper. I didn't want to throw it out just because I had ripped it accidentally, so I'm trying to salvage that. What I did first, as you can see, is go through with my sewing machine and just add some sewing to add some texture around that curve. It actually is going to help keep my paper together too. I am going to stick some washi to the back of that stitching just to make sure I keep everything in place. Normally I don't do that, but I thought in this case, just because I'm trying to keep that paper together, it's just going to add a little bit of extra. I decided I was going to use these two different pieces of paper. I really love this kind of starburst, sunburst background on this one here with the polka dots on the bottom. And I thought it really went well with the color wheel that I have. And it really makes that like a burst of color. So I'm going to just honestly attach that color wheel piece over top of that color burst top. And then the pattern of the polka dots on the bottom gives a nice different variation of the different thing. So I have like the wedges from the color burst, and then I have the dots to add a nice different bit of pattern. So I'm going to foam this up, of course, and just trying to line this up as well as I can with those dividers there in the pie chart to the different bursts on the background there of the other pattern paper. And then I'm going to add my photos here. I have a couple photos printed out, 3x4 size, and I'm just mounting them on some black and some white plain cardstock. And that's just to add some niceness to the photos so they kind of pop a little bit more. I didn't want to add a lot more pattern paper behind there, although that black paper does come from color study and has a bit of a script to it. It's really it's still pretty neutral, so I'm just adding that so that the photos really pop. And I'm going to add this journaling card too. I thought that the clip on it kind of went well with that clip that I added in the top corner of the photos. Actually remove the photo instead so that I can just use the clip on the journaling card. I really like how that looks, so it'll actually give me a place to add a few just pieces of bullet journaling to the layout. And then I couldn't help myself but use these thickers again, because these are probably my favorite ones that Vicky's had in any of her collections. I love that they kind of have a shadow on them and the colors are just amazing. So I am going to add some foam to the back of these just because I want them to be kind of the same height as the photo there. So I'm going to build my title along that top row of the pictures, just keeping in mind excuse me, that I have that journaling card to the left there that I want to add some journaling on later. Don't like my handwriting, so I am going to use some mini stamps and ink that I just got at the craft store. I think they're really great for those of us who don't like their handwriting and still want to have like that, not have to pull out the computer and journal, which I do a lot. But so now I'm trying to decide between a few of the different sentiments in the puffy stickers to add to my title. I do like where the summer is on the page. I'm going to leave that. But I'm trying to decide like what I want to use for my title. I know I have tons of good options on this sticker sheet. So I tried Amazing, I tried Fun. I'm actually going to go into my ephemera as well. There's some other good options in there. I'm just trying to decide which one looks good. I like the vellum, but I thought that's just too much with the thickers, so I'm going to avoid that one. I like that You've Got This. I thought I could trim some of that down, but not super stuck on this either. So I'm going to put that one back. And I think I'm going to go back to Amazing because I felt like that one filled it in nicely, and the black font from the puffy sticker worked best to kind of, when you have a lot of color like this, you want to ground things out a bit. So that black adds a lot of that. I'm going to add a little heart from that sheet too to the end of my title onto the pink area. And then I'm not going to add a ton of embellishment onto here because it is pretty colorful already, but I do know I want to use a lot of my floral ephemera pieces that I have left from my pack here. I do have another pack on the side that I'll probably use at some point, but I am going to use a couple pieces here. They are just perfect to kind of fill in those open areas. And when I put ephemera down, I like to kind of layer them over top of the other pieces that are on the page. So they kind of creates not so much a division, but just a continuation of the elements. If you sometimes place things and they're not overlapping, you lose that sense of continuation on the page. So I'm going to layer those flowers. You can see I am going to look for something to go onto the right hand side as well. I kind of like this arrow. I think that the arrow would be fun, so I will come back to that later. And I do love these little tear apart strips of journaling that you can add. I do add a lot of these to the bottom of my photo. I feel like it's just a kind of nice sentiment that mentions the photos directly. I am going to add this chipboard piece here to finish off that little cluster of the flowers. And I do want to add something to the bottom right corner of the photos now. I'm just trying to decide what pieces I want to do that. I decided to go with this arrow here from the chipboard set versus the ephemera. I like that purple and pink rainbow, and I feel like it fits in with that piece of the pie that's there. I'm going to add a sentiment underneath my photo just to kind of bring that out a little bit more. And I always like to add adhesive behind chipboard. I don't know why, I feel like the chipboard glue sometimes dries up. So I always add some tape runner to the back of those just to give it a little extra. And now I'm just looking for a few more things that I could add to that corner. I'm going to end up going with fussy cutting another flower that matches that ephemera from the ephemera pack. And that's kind of the good thing about this collection is there's lots of pieces in the ephemera that have similar or matching coordinating pieces in the pattern paper. So if you run low on something or run out of something, you can always go to the paper and just cut it out yourself as a good alternative. And I don't really care about this whole flower as I'm going to tuck it under my photo. So I'm just doing my best to cut the larger kind of open area. And I am going to even cut out the little bits. I really want it to match that ephemera piece as best as I can. So you can't really tell that it's a little different. Normally I go around the edge of the paper to add a bit of a white line. This time I didn't, only because the paper was a different color and it wouldn't have given me that line. So that gives me that flower to balance that off there. And then I had some scraps of the pie chart vellum paper kind of kicking around my desk. So I thought I'm going to use a few of those just to add in some more circular elements. So I'm really quickly cut these out. The vellum cuts very, very fast. And the fact that it's a circle makes it even easier because there's less fussiness about it. And I'm just going to add a few of those in. I think the circles add a nice little touch of whimsy. I like to just stick these down with a clear glue dot, as you can see here. I use a large one that it's like a 3D dot, so it kind of actually sticks up on the page. It's not quite so flat, and I'm just going to add a couple of these around the page to finish things off. And once I kind of get this last one in place, then I will get started on adding in my journaling. I use this black ink from Close to My Heart, and I just have these tiny little stamps from Hampton Art that I'm going to use just to add the kind of the bucket list, checklist of what I've been doing so far this summer, which hasn't been a ton, but it's been really hot where I live, so it's been kind of nice. So this is good just to add a few little bits of journaling on your page again. Like I said before, especially if you don't enjoy your handwriting, as I do not. And I don't have the patience to go ahead and take those journaling cards and line them up in my printer and figure all that out. I don't have the patience for that. So these little stamps, if you ever can find a set, are really, really handy. And I like the typewriter font because it just seems to match everything. All right, so once I get that journaling done, I wanted to add a few things to them to look like bullets in a bullet journal. And then I forgot that I had these flowers left over. So I actually added these to the center of the one flower there and into that top area of the green pie in the pie chart. And then I decided to grab my Color Study stamps, and there's a star shape in there. And I thought that would be cool to make my bullets for my list here. So I added that with some yellow just to bring in a different color. And that's how the whole page came together. I did add some stitching to that background paper, as you can see, just so it kind of went along with my pie chart where I had to sew to fix it. Now, overall, I think it turned out pretty good. Nice and bright and colorful, and I hope you'll give this one a try. Thanks. Bye-bye.